I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. The Kari Lake lawsuit in Maricopa County to overturn the results of the 2022 gubernatorial elections in Arizona is going just about how you'd expect a Kari Lake conspiracy riddled and completely meritless lawsuit to go. Her lawyers are being utterly humiliated in court. They're making the most basic of errors and mistakes, just even setting aside the substance, which they can't articulate and their expert can't even come close to articulating. They don't even know who their witnesses are. They don't even recall that they struck witnesses from their witness list, and they are calling people who they either never disclosed or who they told Maricopa County that they would not be calling. Some of the most basic errors like this. But just to remind you, this is Kari Lake's lawsuit to overturn the results of the 2022 gubernatorial elections. This week, the judge in the Maricopa County State Courthouse dismissed essentially all of the allegations asserted by Kari Lake, other than an allegation that the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors intentionally used broken printers with malice, with intent to try to overturn the results of the election so that Governor-elect Katie Hobbs would win. They have to prove actual intent, that any issues or glitches that occurred with ballots that were being printed was done with actual malice, with actual intent to try to flip the election, which is just completely and utterly absurd. It's one of these right-wing MAGA QAnon-ish conspiracies. But because the standard for a complaint at this phase is you have to accept the allegations as true, even if they're frivolous or not true or later shown to be sanctionable, you have to accept the allegations of true on just that narrow issue, on the issue of whether the printers malfunctioned as an intentional act by Maricopa Board of Supervisors, County Board of Supervisors, to try to affirmatively cause Kari Lake to lose. That claim has gone to this evidentiary hearing, and suppose the key witness for Kari Lake in the evidentiary hearing has already undermined their case. It's somebody by the name of Clay Parrick. Clay Parrick claims to be a cybersecurity expert. We learned very early on in the testimony from the evidentiary hearing that Clay Parrick, however, was being paid by Mike Lindell. He hangs out at these Mike Lindell conspiracy events, and Mike Lindell was the one who paid for all of his travel and was paying for his costs and fees. Play this clip.
That event held
in Missouri.
Missouri. And was your travel from Alabama to Missouri paid for by someone other than yourself?
Yes, sir.
And who paid for that?
That would, I would assume, would be Mike Lindell. All their travel was arranged. He asked me to speak at the event, and I spoke.
Now, here is a cross-examination from the Maricopa County lawyer cross-examining this so-called expert, Clay Parrick, about his claim that the Maricopa County intentionally printed out these ballots at different sizes so that they would malfunction. Play the clip.
Goes into door number 3, goes down to McTech. The much more sensitive tabulators, according to you, it would not count it. It would then go to duplication. It would be duplicated. Then it would be tabulated. Is that your understanding of the elections in Maricopa County?
Your technical description is not possible.
I apologize. I wasn't attempting to give a technical description. I was just saying what happens based on your testimony. So you're saying in that scenario, that voter who wanted to vote for Kari Lake would never have that vote tabulated. Is that your testimony?
My testimony is that a shrink to fit setting would rely at the application level, which would reside on the EMS, which Mr. Garrett just testified sends the print job to the printer. Therefore, it can't be accidental, as all the employees that man the EMS are trained.
Whether it's accidental or inadvertent.
I gave the two options, sir.
Please allow me to ask the question. I'll allow you to answer. Whether it's accidental or inadvertent, if the shrink to fit 19-inch ballot has to be duplicated, once it's duplicated, would it be tabulated? To your understanding.
There are two technical ways that that image would be there. None of the ways you exist, it's not even possible.
That's not responsive,
Your Honor.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Parikh. That's not responsive to his question. If you are able to answer his question, you can do that.
Sir, are you able to answer the question?
I'm unable to answer your question.
Okay.
Now, one of the most important aspects of this cross-examination is that the Maricopa County attorney was asking this expert, though, wouldn't the ballots still be counted? I mean, even if you claim that because of the size of the ballot at 19 inches versus 20 inches, that somehow impacted, its ability to be counted, or it caused certain printers not to work, or the ballots not to be read. Based on the process, though, that Maricopa County had in place, wouldn't the ballot still be counted? And the expert admitted, the expert said, yes, it would still be counted. One of the other things as well, though, that the Maricopa County person said is that this whole story about 19-inch ballots and is just a conspiracy that doesn't even exist in the first place. But the purported expert for Kari Lake had no evidence at all that there was any intent, that it could just have been certain printers had problems. And so it was just a complete and utter disaster for that expert. One of the other issues was that Kari Lake's lawyers tried to introduce some voicemail as evidence and said it was a call from somebody named Betty. They never have like the real story. It's always like someone named Betty called someone named this, and it's all about Betty. All roads lead to Betty. Maricopa County is like, we don't know who's Betty, number one. Number two, you never even turned over to this voicemail to us. The judge didn't allow it to go through. But you can see Kari Lake's lawyers like trying to lie to the court to try to get this piece of evidence in about someone named Betty that nobody knows who even exists as part of their blockbuster evidence. And the judge wouldn't allow it. And play this clip.
That she works with Betty in getting records from Maricopa County in response to FOIA requests, Your Honor.
And you've also told me that this was disclosed previously. Yes?
I am, Your Honor, yes.
When was it disclosed to?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. This last week has been like 4 months. And if you want, Your Honor, it's going to take me a good 45 minutes to look for our disclosures.
Stop 1 second. You're an officer of the court. I'm just asking for your word. If you tell me it was within
I'm telling you it was disclosed, Your Honor.
You're telling me within the last week?
Yes, Your Honor.
Opposed to this morning, something like that.
Your Honor, that I have created on 2 separate occasions at their request that I give them access to all of our records via a link so they can go online and download them. And I can show this court that I provided them at least 2 links to do so.
Wait a minute. I don't want to waste a bunch more time on this. We've already spent a lot of time on it. I'm just down to the last little consideration, which is disclosure, so they're not shocked by this. Disclosure is different than saying, here's where all my stuff is. You can dig it out, or it's in there somewhere. This would be a specific. You did a specific notice under 807. The clerk is telling me that they don't have your exhibit uploaded. So what you would be doing is playing something extraneous that you have that's not been uploaded into the system. Coming back to this, what I wanted to focus on is whether the defense had notice of this or not. Have you heard the voicemail before?
No, Your Honor, I have not heard the voicemail. None of the attorneys here have heard the voicemail. And we can avow that there's no one in the Department of Elections, Public Records Department named Betty.
Well, here's what I'm going to do, okay? Because it's taking too long. You can call your witness. Your witness can testify, and cross-examination can happen, but not play the video or the audio clip because it's not uploaded. It's not in the system. I don't have that disclosed.
Here's a great moment as well. This is when, in the evidentiary hearing, Kari Lake's lawyers forget that they struck one of their witnesses, meaning that one of their witnesses they had previously told the Maricopa County they would not be calling as a witness. So that's their star witness from today that they called was the witness who they struck. They also struck, by the way, Katie Hobbs from their witness list. So after all the bluster and bravado, we're calling Katie Hobbs the governor-elect. We're going to put her in the witness stand. Did they call Katie Hobbs? They absolutely did not call Katie Hobbs. But here they realize, this is Kari Lake's lawyers realizing that the witness that they're calling right now is somebody who they struck from the witness list, who's no longer a witness in the case. Play the clip.
What happened?
With what?
He's saying that he's not on the list. It's right there.
The list I'm looking at, Your Honor, does show Aaron Smith designated as a witness. If Your Honor wants to give me a few minutes, I can go through my emails and
Looking at what the court was given, and
I don't know that we provided that list, Your Honor. I mean,
I think you filed it. We also, I think there was an email communication from plaintiff's counsel expressly asking us to take Mr. Smith off of the list.
And here's a moment where Kari Lake's lawyers don't even know how to enter an exhibit into evidence, trying to just show an exhibit, and the judge is like, what are you talking about? Your exhibit? There's one set of exhibits here. Could we just call the exhibit what the exhibit is? Play the clip.
75, Your Honor. It's yours. Your 75 are what?
no, there's only one number. It's the court's number that we're referring to, not mine, yours, his. It's 75, and 75 submitted.
Understood, Your Honor. I say R1 for their bet.
Got it.
Very good. 75, Your Honor. All right. And, I'm going to sort of divert a little bit here because do you have any problems?
Because evidently Mike Lindell is the one who's coordinating all of this. This is brought to you by Mike Lindell, the man who's being sued for hundreds of millions of dollars in defamation cases across the country. The individual who was seen leaving the White House with a piece of paper that said martial law and appoint Kash Patel as the acting director of the CIA. Yeah, that Mike Lindell. In any event, this was an interview with Mike Lindell just from the other night. It's not in trial, but Mike Lindell started talking about one of these right-wing channels, started talking about, I have my IT team. They're in this county. Do you know where we're digging up information from? And then his lawyers are like, Mike, be quiet. And then Mike's like, okay, I can't talk right now. My lawyers are telling me to be quiet. Like all this happened right on live TV. Play the clip.
I'm going to break a little breaking news, Brandon, here right now, that this will probably surprise a lot of people. And I don't know if you know about it, but do you know what I took my about a lot of my team, at least the cyber team and the IT people. Do you know what county in the country I'm having them focus on?
What
for the next couple weeks?
What? Which one?
It is just to hold on a second. Go talk there. I'm gonna see if I'm getting advice from my attorney here, not to say.
If you looked on right-wing social media, they think this Kari Lake trial is going well. They are celebrating this Kari Lake trial. Here, do we have the video? This is a video just also from the other night when the judge didn't throw out all 10 claims and left this remaining claim about the printer. and that Kari Lake has to prove that Maricopa County, again, intentionally sabotaged their own printers to try to make it so that Kari Lake would lose the election and to steal the election for Katie Hobbs. That's what has to be proven in this evidentiary hearing. You know, even though the printing issues that arose, you know, weren't so systemic that they even made any difference at all. And that's what independent studies from the Arizona Republic and others showed. But setting that aside, the standard that Kari Lake has to show is her conspiracy, that this was all an intentional and malicious effort so that she could lose. That's the standard, and she's not going to win. But here, play this clip of everybody at the Kari Lake headquarters or whatever it was, celebrating and partying that this ridiculous conspiracy-laden thing where she's going to lose and probably be sanctioned. I mean, this was the most absurd evidentiary hearing I think I've watched in a long time. But like, they think they're going to win. Play the clip.
We are going to trial for Kari Lake.
You know, we have to use our intelligence, people. I mean, that's part of it. Like, when you are the right wing and you don't follow facts and you don't follow law, and you also have no standards at all for who your politicians are, you end up with that scene that you just watched. I mean, it's weird, and they're cheering, and they don't know what they're cheering for. They've been led down this completely deranged and dangerous and fallacious and bizarre rabbit hole of everything's a conspiracy. They have no clue what is actually going on here, and we really need to bring back, you know, civic engagement. We really do need to bring back learning about our history and the way our politics works and the way the law works. We need to bring all of that back in schools and in colleges. We need to, and everywhere. We need to teach people about these things, because these people are just being led astray, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. We got to address it. We got to deal with it. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. And in addition to hitting the subscribe button, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We got great content you can only get there. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Check it out. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.